Techies and techettes, what a wonderful week for advancements and updates. With lots of games meeting the roster of joining the Nemesis, a little hint of what will be on the actual point of patch notes, we will be introducing the new 445. It's super succeeding the 442. Now we have 44575, and there are some improvements. We've done some bench testing, and we're going to show you some really great stuff with some gaming news. This is your boy Mac, and you're at the MacGyver 7th channel, and let's go ahead and dive right into what's going down with the Nvidia patch. As always, I have the clip notes inside of the release notes for the direct between Nvidia if you want to see what's going down and checking out their stuff for as far as what patched through on the 23rd. Not too bad. It's only about 2 days old. It seems very stable. I've done some testing and I've loved it so far. But let's go down to the nitty-gritty. What changed? So we got the new release of this driver has been fixing a lot of issues, hopefully. But the introduction of what games? It provides a lot of optimizations for Half-Life, Resident Evil 3, Ghost Recon, and the Breaking Point, on top of the Nvidia DLSS 2-point control for as far as the Mech Wars goes inside of there, and that was supposed to be a huge increasement, just as like where I believe AMD now is starting to try their pursuit of, I think it's DirectX Ultimate 12 or something like that. It's like, okay, now we're just throwing names around here. I want to see performance, and thank goodness I do both. So if you stay tuned to the channel, you'll get to all your tech answers, hopefully. If not, I always learn from other techies that are on YouTube too as well. There's a lot of great communities out there. Anyways, getting back to the news. We can see that the driver and the new features and the other changes adds an update for the SLI profile, which is pretty cool. So now you can start making utilization of some of these combinations on Ace, Combat 7, inside of the Black Sad, Under the Skin, Blair Witch, and then Close to the Sun, as well as the Hell Let Loose. More titles down below. Make the list with Journey into the Savage Planet, Monster Energy Supercross 3, Moto GP 19, the MXGP 2019 official motocross video game, as well as the eFootball PES, as well as the 2020 variation of the series, World War 3, as well as the added portion of the SLI profile for all supported GPUs that are associated with the Stone is the secret for as far as the Forest and the Phoenix Point. You have Tarman will live on for the online, and then Yukasa 2. So you're having a lot of stuff that's being added as far as the G-Sync compatibility. Acer is the only one that makes the list besides the situation of the game driver fixes and the full list down below that we're going to be getting into for as far as Windows 7, taking the very cliff note for as far as the notebooks. It not recognizing the cloning point for as far as utilizing the separate panel. So when you're trying to utilize working from home and a laptop, it really wasn't working for as far as Windows 7. The flickering screen occurs for as far as the shadow plays on the screen for as far as the setting, and the V-Sync when it's turned off, as well as the Call of Duty Warzone shadow play screenshot capture does not work functionably with inside of Windows 7. World of Warcraft makes the battle for its bug fix inside of the DirectX 12 for as far as they crashed games when they switched DirectX 11 to DirectX 12, which seems to be an issue that's very prevalent. For as far as the notebook making the list for Windows 10, now for as far as the situation, the graphic integration, for as far as the cloning source, so it seems like no matter what, this is just an issue between both. They could have just said Windows 10 and 7 and variants between that. I feel like that could have been summed up a little bit easier. For as far as the Windows only continuation is Red Dead Redemption, for as far as SLI, and the V-Sync enabling, increasing the situation for as far as the flickering occurrence in game. So you're not getting your pixel for pixel, you're getting flicker for shot, for hopefully you're getting it, but it's probably not. Alas, there is a workaround for all you Red Dead players. To work around this, disable your VSync for right now. It's annoying, but you will be getting hopefully a fix in the next variation points, because these are open issues that I've very well seen a lot of companies battle with. But as games mature and drivers mature and GPUs come out, we'll see some I guess progression go up. I guess like one of the bigger issues that like Nvidia has been facing, which has actually been really great for the, I guess, the network that both AMD and Nvidia have kind of like plastered out there, which was their clouds. Data centers have been going through the roofs right now since it's more of a work at home environment. So it's like they have been trying to do both. That's why they kind of went zero dark 30 for the beginning of like the last few weeks, and then they just started pushing out updates. So it's like it's kind of cool to see this. So we might see some really cool progression forward as the time continues. But to continue on with this, Windows 10 inside the Strange Brigade in the green color corruption appearing inside of the game on the output for as far as the format, when the YCBCR for as far as the 420 or the 12B PC code. For as far as the workaround with that, just switch that from the 422 or the 444 to a different spacing coloring. And that happens sometimes, you know, you have these issues that aren't like compatibilities where it'd be like an encoder, or if it'd be just the actual physical portion where it's actually rendering that encoding. It just depends. So moving on past that, where Resident Evil 3 is making the list. With that, the bundle and GeForce experience does not support the freestyle for the game, unfortunately. SLI inside of the Doom, and for as far as the corruption in the game upon opening the Steam overlay, as well as Doom making the list again for the error occurring inside of the game while capturing the super resolution in the AI. The image will become a little bit more corrupted, more than likely. Now, for as far as one more Doom installment that is followed by another, you can see that their frame rate is being an issue inside of the Steam in-game FPS. Issues would occur in the non-Nvidia graphics hardware. For as far as the Windows 10 making the list in the HDR department for the same exact title, when the OS and HDR is set off and the in-game HDR is set on, the workaround is to enable the HDR game as well as having the Windows app enabled inside of there, which is pretty easy to get to. You just have to go to your Windows setting, go to your display settings, and from that you'll be able to actually turn on and toggle HDR for that screen. Sometimes you may have to select that screen, and that's where it gets a little confusing. You just have to like look for it's like, what screen am I, and then like apply that screen and touch that screen, and then that screen setting will change, and then you should be able to access that. It's pretty simple, but it's very confusing to find. I guess worst comes to worst, if people leave comments, I can always make a tutorial for that if my techies and tech guests want that. But moving on, so we can keep this video very well progressively forward of a march, so we can see the Call of Duty making the list for as far as the white flashes when the players are approaching the walls, which is supposed to be something that was supposed to be fixed a while ago, but now it seems like it's something more prevalent, probably explicitly for certain GPUs. If you are experiencing that, drop a comment down below with GPU that you're being afflicted with the CPU that's it's in tandem with. Working past that, for as far as the Warzone in the freestyle does not work, you have the Forza making the list for as far as the curbs may have the black stripes, which were on the last list, as well as the Zombie and the Army of the Dead coming into a War of 4. Freestyle in the tabs that are unselectable. Or as far as Tom Clancy in the Vulkan mode, that G-Sync is also going to have that flicker. For as far as the workaround with that, either enable the G-Sync or play utilizing an API other than Vulkan. New to the list, you have Rocket League, Borderlands 3, and Overwatch, as well as Jurassic Park Evolution. Games will crash to the desktop as far as the image sharpen enabling. Wow, that is a huge list. Those are games are crazy sharpened. Maybe DirectX 11, you're going crazy. As far as Rise of the Tomb Raider may crash when as far as the benchmark test is coming in DirectX 12. Who would have knew? Laura would have been just too much to handle for the computer. You have the certain portions of the Carbon Extreme. The displays will show corruption when resuming inside of a sleep mode, so those issues do occur sometimes, bugs to bugs. But with the news being out of the way, it's time for some benchmarks. I know you guys and gals love it, and there's some very interesting things. I noticed this happened to AMD in the last patch, and now it is very prevalent with as far as Nvidia, and this happened with my Intel, you know, for as far as doing some circumventing in the Windows. So we're gonna go over some really fun factoids and seeing performance going out the window, and sometimes it's out of the control of the OS developers like Nvidia, AMD, because of some sloppy software from Windows sometimes. Check this out. This was the patch that we did not too long ago, literally within probably about 4 days ago. So this is the current OS before I'd even circumvented anything with Windows, but I wanted to update Windows to make sure that it was getting the current thing. So straight up the same 442 for variation. Now you have the same Windows update, same driver, and you can see a performance drop. And it's not something where it's just like, oh, hey, it's like 50, 25 here and there, plus or minus. It was a good 70. So that Windows driver completely tanked the currently installed issues. So maybe a lot of these flickering issues aren't something that like is directly on the software, because it seems like a lot of like the game development teams are dealing with a lot of the same issues when it comes down to it. Now check this out though. When you have current OS of Windows up to date and you have current Nvidia polished up by your lovely team of people rushing together to have you have a great experience, you get this. That isn't crazy, insultingly amazing. You know, it's like where it's so amazing you're just like, what the hell, man? That's like some Kaioken's crap right there, where it's just like, why wasn't that last week, but it's this week. So that's pretty cool. Basic DirectX 11 inside of your bottom end 1080 department, huge boost. Now the same trend continues when we go to the extreme test. You have a very great result for like as far as what we patched a few days ago before Windows was touched. After Windows was touched, a huge decreasement. I mean, that's drastic. I mean, that is like literally probably like an FPS or two, like of like performance, because I mean you're almost going down to 91% inside there. There's a huge drop of almost like 130 points, give or take. And if you look at your graphics test as well as the physical, it's another huge drop. But when you go to the what we have current to current, Windows currently updated, you have like Nvidia currently updated, and the same thing happened with AMD's drivers. Bam, you get a freaking amazing score. Like that's clean. You're just like almost like, what the heck, man? Can't you guys just work together? Where's the synergy in all this? Now, not everything is picture perfect. As you can see, the 1080p runs king and prevalent portions of the update of DirectX 11. When you see the 4K with the Ultra, you do see some tendencies of where it is starting to get some variance. You can kind of see where, well, hell, that's pretty impressive when you look at, you know, when you just install the Windows update and it's working with that. So it's like, there's an improvement. Like, I can't talk that much on Windows when it comes down to 4K. They're really trying, I guess. But when you go down to the update past that, you're like, oh, okay. When everything is up to date with the new Windows, and then you have Nvidia up to date, which we might see some other stuff, but that's not that bad of like a decreasement. But you can definitely see where the old driver with the current Windows worked really well for some weird reason, versus where Nvidia's handiwork and software right here completely decreased it by almost like a clean 75, 70. You know, look at that. That's pretty point. But let's go ahead and get on to the Port Royale. Now, with last week's Port Royale gaining one of the bigger grounds with Tensor Core and update, it was kind of beautiful, but you can kind of see when you update your Windows, blah, just completely destroys it. Like, I mean, it's just sad to watch. But when you look at this, you're like, it's a little restored. You're like, okay, Windows update, Nvidia update, you got me. All I'm like lacking is my 1080p like performance out doing my 4K, but that's besides the point. Let's look at DirectX 12 Time Spy, where you measure up. Now, looking just at basic update to update without the Windows, we've kind of gone over, we've seen the trends, you get the picture. We're looking at the situation for as far as Time Spy. Is it good for DirectX 12? Yeah, actually, it's not bad. You see a pretty good improvement for as far as across the board, with increasing roughly about like 18 points, which is good. Now, where DirectX 11 may have lacked, DirectX 12 picks up the slack because you see a huge increasement for as far as 4K working with the current Windows driver. So, is this update something you should want to install? Yes, I think you should dial it home. As long as you update your drivers and you're not banking on 4K and DirectX 11 and you can deal with a few bugs that they're trying to work on, this is your boy Mac, and I'll always be doing these patch notes, taking in a lot of the tech industry and seeing what works inside of the viewers' like happiness, really, because I say there's a lot of ways to get to the end result of making something work, and my puzzle piece of knowledge might be that. So if you've journeyed this long, thank you so much. I appreciate your time, and if you're new to the network, you can always subscribe. It's absolutely free, helps me out as a creator, and who knows, if you do today, I might be able to go freaking take a boat cruise trip one of these days. That'd be kind of cool. Like, eventually, all this mess is going to clean up, and then boat cruises are going to be super cheap, and I've always wanted to go see Alaska, so who knows, maybe I'll see a live stream of me, like, on a boat cruise in Alaska. That'd be cool, right? Like, literally. Brr. But I love the cold. Anyways, everyone, have a nice day. I'll see you guys and gals in the near future, and I know I've been lacking on the Tech Tuesdays. I just been, like, completely, like, recovery mode. I guess I classify as an essential worker in this whole situation, so I've been working non-stop for the public for the last like 3 to 4 weeks, and they finally gave me some time off where I was just sleeping. It was great. So sorry that this video didn't come in sooner, but I'll see you guys and gals in the near future. Take it easy, everyone. Later.